Well, the scribe is sore right now. Scribe's a little sore right now. Hey, I got a quick aside before we welcome Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, into the equation. The mobile entry cards, the mobile cards that we have, they're fantastic. I mean, it's very, very convenient. But the reason I nearly was late was actually not bathroom related this time.
I always love that one.
It's as I just learned, Mr. Nordquist, with the new mobile card key.
Yeah.
It doesn't activate when somebody texts you. And of course, I have a daughter who's incapable of sending one text. It has to be 3 words in one text 16 times.
I always love that one.
So I'm sitting out there trying to get this mobile card key going, and it's like, why? Coley, jeez, honey, we're on text number 9 here. The last one was KK. Love you, meower. And I couldn't get in. I was almost late. That's about the only deficiency with that.
Growing pains with new super cool technology here in the building.
My old key card gets me in like the first door, but then try to get around, stuck. So yeah, it's an adjustment
I suppose we're gonna have to
process.
get you set up with that. Aren't
I guess so. Yeah, it'd have to be something different.
Oh, we got it right after this segment if you need it.
Yeah.
Ben Goessling at Ben Goessling via Twitter. Star Tribune, StarTribune.com. Here to chat about much, but we begin with the Giannis trade and the Khalil Ware impact on it for Milwaukee.
I always love that one.
Actually, we begin with 25722. 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 22 seconds. 2 hours, 57 minutes, 22 seconds, 26 miles and 385 yards. Grandma's Marathon. Our friend Ben Goessling ran a sub-3 hour marathon. Well done, young man.
Thank you.
Well done, young man.
Congratulations. That's so awesome.
You wanted to go under 3 hours, and you did.
Yeah, it was.
You're so sore right now.
A little bit. The legs are getting back. It's better than it was on Saturday, but it's not too bad. It was a good day up there. It's the third time in 4 years I've done the full marathon up there, and Boston qualified again, and we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But
what do you mean?
Last
week when we chatted, it was no, even if I qualify. Now it's we'll see if that comes to fruition. And I notice you have one of the ticket market apps up on your phone right now, looking for some Red Sox tickets.
Yeah, we'll see how the fall goes. I don't have to make that decision quite yet. I had a friend tell me, but like what?
You're so sore. I mean, seriously, 26 miles and 385 yards to be that sore? Is it worth it?
I'm not that sore. It's the microphone is like lower today than it normally is, so we're trying to adjust all of that. But
the microphones move, your back doesn't.
Yeah.
You had a buddy that ran with you, right?
I did. Yep. Yeah.
Things fared well for him. He had a successful venture.
He didn't have quite as strong of a day. He, I think, was probably a little disappointed with the outcome. But overall, I think he ran about 3:07. So, and that's the thing with the marathon.
You finished the marathon.
You did, yes. And he's done quite a few of them. I think he's got an ultra marathon coming up for him in the next few months here,
What's
too.
that?
Wow. I think he's doing like 70.3 or something. It's
consecutive?
Yeah.
Or you get to do it over 4 days?
No, I think it's consecutive. Like, no, thank you.
Can you walk?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you probably have to, but...
I mean, you're talking to two people where the only thing we run from is our past.
Yeah,
I always love that.
So this is very, very impressive. 257.22.
Yeah. It's always the thing with the marathon is like you do all the training, and a lot of it comes down to what's the weather like that day, how do I feel that day, and it's one of those things that whether it goes well or whether it doesn't, you need some recovery time from it. So. You can't just come back and do another one like 3 days later. So that is always the thing on marathon day is like, are things going to break the way I want? There are the things I can control and the things that I can't. And the weather was pretty decent. I mean, we've had years up there where the weather is like last year was kind of a sweat bath, and
there was no wind.
There was not much wind. There was a little bit of headwind, but you typically want the tailwind off of the lake.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of cooling, and it just kind of blows you from Two Harbors to Duluth. But overall, it wasn't awful. It's better weather than I've had a couple of times that I've been up there. So, you take your shot that day and kind of see what happens.
Did you hear fan faithful Katie Dempsey at the wire shouting, "Good job, Benny! Good job, Benny!" She called you Benny. Did that distract you?
I looked over.
Benny.
Yeah, I looked over and I saw her.
I got the video.
Yeah, I think she showed me the video. I definitely looked over. At that point, I
blew her off.
I was like trying to just get it finished up.
I could tell.
Yeah, you're at that point like, okay, because I'm sitting there doing the math of like, all right, as I'm making the final corner, am I gonna make it?
Oh,
could I break 257? And like, and I'm kind of doing the math like, no, probably not. Like, okay, we're just gonna cruise this in.
Right.
So yeah, it was. But I saw her at the end and had shout outs from a number of different people. You know, the fun thing about that is you get to know people up there and it kind of becomes this little community of like the Twin Cities kind of goes up there. The running community goes up there. You get people from all around the country because it's hard to find a June marathon that's not sweltering hot anymore.
Yeah.
So you get people from all around the country, all around the world that come for this marathon. And it's a fun kind of reunion of the running community up there. So yeah, definitely saw Katie at the end and I saw quite a few people throughout the course of the day.
I thought it was great when you were 10 of 10 exhausted. Your back was starting to tighten. The muscles and even your delts were trembling because you had just put your body through so much.
There would have to be something in my delts for that to start trembling, but
and
I appreciate it.
There's Katie going, "Good job, Benny," and then Ben's wife rolling over going, "Who's Katie?"
I always love that one.
And he's bent over and can't even talk right now. I was like, "Honey." Well, that's quite the account. What were there tough moments? What were the toughest moments for which you had to push, Benjamin?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of probably 3 miles left or so, was starting to cramp quite a bit. I've had, when I ran the Boston Marathon 2 years ago, I had a lot of cramps in my calves to the point where it was like...
You mean like one of those refs in the USA World Cup soccer game? Did you have to lay down for 5 minutes and get a third hydration break?
No, I didn't have to. I mean, you do take hydration breaks during those things, but you have to basically make sure it's not going to seize up on you. I had... nothing quite as bad as Boston, but I had one point where my calf and my hamstring were both like, oh, okay, I have to be mindful of that. So
talking to you?
Yeah, they were they both entered the chat. So some of that was trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to adjust my gait, the way I'm running? What do I need to do in terms of refueling here? And I got through it, and I think about the time that I was figuring out my way through the cramps, Mill City Running has a scream tunnel at mile 24.
Scream tunnel where you can go in and scream?
No, where people are screaming at, like, it's a cheer section. So that's what they get called in running. But they had, I think, a smoke can, and they had people yelling. They had a gong. So I went over and hit the gong, and I kind of made a little bit of a lateral shift there. I was like, that felt that in my hamstring a little bit, but
Chuck Barris and the Gong Show.
Yeah, I wailed on the thing. I'm an old percussionist, so I had to kind of reacquaint myself with that. But it was, my hamstring for a second was mad at me, but then I was like, no, worth it. It was, you get such an adrenaline boost from that crew. So it was, and they were there all day for the people at the front and then the people all the way to the back. So it's, numerous people I heard from afterwards said, yeah, that group at mile 24 was so loud. It's like, yep, those are the people I race with. And I raced for Mill City Running. So proud to rep them as always. And they bring energy like nobody else at that thing. So that helped a lot, mile 24.
So you had the physical elements that you overcame.
Yeah.
Was there anybody yelling out fake Vikings trade related news to try and get in your head to keep you from finishing a sub 3 hour marathon, which still my head's spinning over that. Congratulations. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
No fake trade news being spouted out from the crowd.
No.
Better stop and text.
I didn't get that, but there were a couple of guys at it was like mile 10 that pulled up and said, Ben, is it going to be Kyler or JJ? And they started talking that's awesome. Quarterback stuff. So then one guy's like, dude, he's trying to run. But I was like, actually, this is not a bad thing because I race shorter stuff typically. So I tend to race where I probably get out a little too fast in the marathon because you have to be really patient.
They're super excited.
In the marathon. Yeah, your adrenaline's going and you're just used to running faster.
Yeah, you're a speed horse.
Yeah, exactly. I don't tend to be as much of the plow horse, I suppose. But my co-coach at Apple Valley, Sarah Sutton, who is always telling me I need to run shorter stuff, is probably listening to this right now going, yeah, you are a speed horse. Maybe let's try that out with some shorter stuff sometime.
That's awesome.
But these guys were talking to me at like mile 10, and I said, actually, this is not bad because that means we can keep it a little more conversational.
Yeah.
And keeps me from
what happened?
Knock the mic or something. Yeah. We'll be fine.
I'll hold pump $15,000 into this new studio and the microphone just went limp.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Marketing at KFAN.
It helped me kind of keep things in check for a while. So I talked with those guys, and I'm like, yeah, we started with the easy ones, and then we got to Blake Brandel for a few minutes of like, it's like, okay, we're going deep here. We're going to break down how's the middle of the offensive line going to be. So we did a few minutes of Vikings chatter, and then I think kind of parted ways at some point. But that actually did. So shout out to those guys. It helped me maintain a little more responsible pace than I typically want to do in those sections of those races.
Did it feel like you sprouted wings when you started sniffing the finish line?
It does have that effect, yes, the psychological effect of I'm almost there. And the finish in Duluth is you get around the big ship, the William A. Irvin, I think is the ship that you have to go around. And then once you turn around that, you're headed towards Canal Park and you're basically ready to be done. But yes, there is that feeling of I'm almost there. You get the adrenaline rush. I mean, anybody who's run the Twin Cities Marathon knows that finish at that one is downhill from the cathedral to the Capitol, and you get the adrenaline of the crowd, and you see the big American flag, you see the state capitol, all that kind of stuff. And there is a pretty awesome kind of, it doesn't feel quite like the sprouting of wings all the time because your legs are tired, but you're like, okay, I can push through this. And that part at the end, especially in races like Twin Cities, that's really well set up for that. It's fun to just say, all right, let it rip and ride it in.
When do you have to commit for Boston and the Boston Marathon? Because there's a chance that like you could commit to that and just bring guard Derek White from the Celtics back with you to Minnesota.
I always love that.
You have to commit to it in September, I believe, and then the race itself is in April.
Okay.
So I've got a little time, but it'll be after the trade deadline.
Lastly, for aspiring marathoners listening now, what advice would you give them other than don't do it and just smash the entire Pringles in the cylindrical container with the resealable lid?
Well, I mean, there are days during the process, believe me, that you kind of think, yeah, why am I doing this to myself? But I would say don't overestimate the challenge of it and don't underestimate the challenge of it, if that makes sense. It is an endeavor. It is something that takes, especially if it's your first time, it's probably about an 18-week process to train for it. So you go through a lot of, it's running, you have to lift, you have to do core work to make sure that your form stays in good shape for 26 miles. You have to figure out how to fuel during a run. You have to figure out hydration. I mean, there's all of these things that go into it that if you want to do it well, you have to pay attention to. So you have to respect that part of it and respect the distance, but it's also not such a overtaking or overwhelming endeavor that people should say, oh, I can't do this. Like, it is possible. And you see a lot of people of different fitness levels, different walks of life finish a marathon. And that's the idea that you finish one of these things, even if you're at the back of the pack. It's like the number of people who don't do these that say, yeah, this is not something I want to take on.
Yeah, the wise part of the world.
Yeah, yes, the wise part of the world may be it. But if you're taking the step among the foolish sorts that we are, there takes some courage, even if you're not finishing in under 3 hours or something like that. So it is a challenge that anybody can take on.
So no Kevin O'Connell at mile 19 saying, just stop it right now, and I'll tell you exactly what pick we're giving for Brendan Sorsby.
I didn't see him. No. If
Sorsby had come up before mile 20, your mind would have been spinning.
Yeah, and that was about the part that I was
sore right now. It's making me sore.
Trying to get through it. I did not see KOC out there.
Right.
So,
you got to sit a different way. I mean, do we have phone books here that we save for John Krasinski?
I just got to get the microphone up higher.
We'll figure out the mic during the pause.
We're fine. We're fine. We'll make it work.
Sarah Sutton.
Yeah.
And the motivation of Sarah Sutton. Mm-hmm. Happen to know if her middle name is Olivia?
I do not know that.
Okay, well, if you could check, because then that would make her SOS.
Yeah, there you go.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The Fan. Guaranteed human.
From the 1-8.
Hey, soccer fans, Thursday night at Heartbreakers in Chaska, we're going to be doing another World Cup watch party. So Thursday night, it's a 9 p.m. kick. Final group stage game for the Americans before they move on to the knockout round. I will be at Heartbreakers in Chaska. There's going to be drink specials. We'll do some games, and we're just going to pump it up and root on the red, white, and blue in their final group game before they head on to the games that really count. So Heartbreakers in Chaska, World Cup watch party, Thursday at 9 p.m.
Expecting an emergency access Vikings podcast anytime soon?
I hope not. If there's news, we will act accordingly.
The Sorsby's team.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you think they hold a supplemental draft party?
I always love that.
I don't know. Do they?
Who attends that?
You would probably be emceeing that, or do we not? Does that not reach the level where they bring you in for that? Maybe there's like I don't know who's emceeing that.
The thing is generally if you ponder a supplemental draft party, it involves players who became ineligible for something.
Yeah,
I always love that.
So
one.
it's like, it's our welcome to our supplemental draft party, and we're all here to celebrate the safety, Jalen Thompson.
Yeah,
and it's sponsored by this nutrition store, and what led him to this supplemental draft. In this case, it would be
maybe at the nutrition store.
Perfect. Indiana and Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby. Now, I brought this up repeatedly last couple of days because he's a quarterback.
Yes.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
The desperation nature of those in the National Football League to get the right quarterback, specifically when it's quiet, well, that doesn't mean that the old wheels aren't rolling along.
No, it's true.
The greasing the wheels of a noisy bad dream are not taking place. But Brendan Sorsby, supplemental draft. Assuming there is a supplemental draft, it'd be within a month, like somewhere around a month, right? I
think so. Yeah, I think it'd be relatively soon here.
What if the Vikings take a swing?
I mean, the interesting thing with a supplemental draft is I think basically it's a blind bid, isn't it? I mean, so everybody has
draft
to.
pick.
Yeah, you just have to commit to what draft pick you're willing to give up for him.
Mm-hmm. You know anything about him? Like, is he good?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's thought of as, this quarterback class next year is going to have a lot of people in it because there's a lot of these guys that are, just coming, that have stayed for NIL deals. And so I think the class itself
like the Oregon guy?
Yeah, there's Dante Moore. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks in it. So you'd have to decide, I would imagine somebody would commit a first or second round pick to him. Mm-hmm. So you have to decide now if that's worth giving up that pick in next year's draft. So, it wouldn't be impossible, I suppose, as I just think out loud about it.
Yeah, you're just starting to think about this because of the marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
thought about it a little bit.
Put the rubber to the road here.
Yeah.
And learn, truly, with respect.
Yeah.
Love you. Say it back.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, I just kind of wag my finger at you a little bit of that rubber to the road thing.
Yeah.
6'3" quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the premise. Can you accurately, absolutely identify the 2027 and 2028 starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings?
No.
Okay.
So then it has to be a conversation. Yes.
Yes. I think all teams probably are doing due diligence for sure.
Yes.
And due diligence would include, over the course of 1.5 to 3 years, making 9,000 sports bets and continually doing it knowing you were doing something wrong.
Right.
Now, 9 to noon, and this would include with you. And I am speaking for you, and I bet you I'm 10 to 10. This is not the sanctimonious leader.
Yeah.
Okay, we get forgiveness, grace, and mercy.
Yeah. Totally.
But 9,000 of them over a year and a half to 3 years, knowing, well, yeah, I'm the quarterback. I got guidelines. Everybody else has rules.
Right.
Holy cow, you talk about stretching that term.
Yeah, that is the kind of thing, if you're going to do due diligence on it, you have to say, okay, what does this mean about how you would come into this building and lead, and knowing how Kevin O'Connell feels about quarterbacks, and it's not just do your job, he talks about quarterbacks being people that elevate a building.
Yeah.
And you'd have to, I think, feel confident in Sorsby's ability to do that. Knowing what you know about why he's available in a supplemental draft, I think a lot of that stuff would have to be sorted out if you're going to say we're going to make this kind of a commitment to him. But if you felt good about all of those things, then it is part of the conversation, because we don't know going forward. I mean, I'd
even say, okay, let's do this. Ravens joint practice this year.
Yeah.
Which quarterback for the Vikings gets most of the reps?
We still don't have an answer to that.
Sorsby has merit here because he's 6'3", he's a quarterback, he's a dual threat, and he might be able to play.
Right. Yes. I mean, you have to, I think, at least, it is not something that they're going to look at and say, no, we're not going to think about this at all. Knowing the way they work and the way that they feel about getting the quarterback thing right, and knowing what it looks like when that is locked in and settled and what that means for the rest of the team. If you felt like we don't have full confidence that we have the answer right now, and I don't know how you could feel like you have it completely settled right now.
Yeah.
I would think you'd have to look into it. And I'm sure they have been and are trying to figure out what this market would look like and what it would take to commit. Is it worth the risk? I mean, all of those questions that come into these discussions, I'm sure they're having those conversations.
Okay, so say is it 8 of 10 far-fetched if all of a sudden the Scribe breaks a story, gets some steam, that, wow, they're going to make available a first-round pick in 2027 for Brendan Sorsby. Would that 8 of 10 floor you?
I would be surprised, if only because, not that it's out of the realm of possibility, but it would communicate very strongly how they feel about him and how this looks going forward. Because the implications of it would be probably the part that would leave me the most like, oh, okay, yeah, we've got some things to sort through here. I think a lot of it is, you make those types of commitments to quarterbacks, they come with all sorts of ramifications. I mean, we've seen this over the years where you commit a first-round pick to a quarterback, you are staking reputational capital on that player. And if you do it in a supplemental draft, a couple of years after staking reputational capital on a player overall, I mean,
with respect,
you do have to make the pivots, though.
But you also, we don't, I mean, you may, but we don't have past performances on the new GM.
Right.
I mean, his perhaps anointed starting quarterback here was 2-8 or 2-9 versus Seattle and lost 8 in a row.
Right.
There's no guarantee that Nolan Teasley's in love with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He may not have liked J.J. McCarthy at all into the draft 3 years ago.
I think they talked with McCarthy. I think McCarthy spent some time in Seattle before that draft, but that doesn't mean that they
see what I'm
him.
saying here?
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying where, hey, that was a first round pick. He has to do this. He's a quarterback, or murder by numbers 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and they have taken that approach where they've said, let's fill this room with talent and may the best man win. I mean, we have seen them do that quite a bit. I mean, they're doing it right now, where you have a guy that was taken first overall and a guy that was taken 10th overall saying, let's figure out the job. And number 3,
a guy taken 3rd overall.
Exactly. Yeah. Carson Wentz is number 3 in the room. So
whatever.
They have.
He's number 3 in the room, you say.
Well,
they go 5. They start him against Green Bay. They go 5-1 their first 6 games.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect that he's not number 3 in the running for that job. We'll see where it actually sorts out on the depth chart.
Yeah, he ain't going to start.
Figure that out.
I'm just telling you, if they start him against Green Bay, they'll go 5-1 in the first 6 starts. That's just my take.
Well, the one thing I'm thinking about with this, and again, I haven't watched all of Brendan Sorsby's games.
I haven't watched any.
Was he potentially on track to be a first-round pick? What is the equity that he was building? Clearly, it looks like on paper, statistically, pretty high quality, and maybe some good times ahead of him. although it was originally planned that he would still be in college. So to make that jump the year, I'm just curious at some point with our quarterback competition, how muddy can we make it? Because we already have Kyler and McCarthy, and we don't have an answer to it. And then we have Carson, and Carson's steady Eddie of the group. And then there's, maybe Sorsby supplants a Max Brosmer or something like that. But in the efforts of finding the right answer, I think there is a mark where it becomes muddy and it becomes more confusing. And maybe in the efforts of getting better, you don't necessarily get the clearest answer because you're splitting all of these reps. So, for me, to PA's point, yes, you can't guarantee that you have a guy on roster right now that's starting in 27 and 28. I personally just don't like the risk of a Sorsby, but man, somebody's going to take. Maybe someone finds a little gold in the hills with Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the things you laid out there is part of it, because it is one thing to have a room full of top end quarterbacks, but I think the last time they did that, you knew who the starter was going to be. I mean, Sam Darnold was getting the 1 reps, and J.J. McCarthy was starting to get a little bit more until they got hurt, and the injury kind of, not that they wanted the injury, but whatever question there was or whatever, we have to figure this out, it took that off the table, and then Daniel Jones came in as part of the practice squad, and you're going through the season knowing that there's no question about who the starter is. So that, I think, is different than this in the sense that they are still splitting reps when you come in and you have other people that need to get developed. They need to get chances to practice against this defense, get evaluated against this defense, all of those things. It does get to the point where it's harder to sort it all out. So, yeah, there is that piece of things. But if you looked at him as, hey, we don't have to have the answer on this guy by August.
Yeah,
I mean, we
just want him in the stable.
We want him. Yes, we want another.
Yeah,
another.
I'm not negative
start
on
in the
that.
barn, but
given there's no immediacy to it.
Yeah.
So if they made that Brendan Sorsby move in the supplemental draft, you think there would be a press conference?
I would think there'd have to be.
Okay. Well, there doesn't have to be.
I mean, I would think
they potentially would choose
I think
for there to be one.
Deem it to be wise to talk about it. Yeah.
Would you ask him, quote, so let me get this straight. More than 9,000 sports bets over a few years when you knew it was against the rules. Your thoughts?
I think you have to find a way to ask that question. Yes.
That's not the right way.
Well, it can be. I mean, I think that question of how did you go through this process thinking, yeah, this was a good idea.
Right.
Knowing that there's a risk to that obviously has played out because now you're in a supplemental draft that I don't think was part of his plan. So, yeah, all of those questions, and I'm sure he's going to get asked those questions by anybody that's thinking about this too. I don't know what the process is with a supplemental draft. Like, are you able to do pre-draft interviews with the guy? I mean, I don't know
idea
how this works compared to what you'd see in the regular draft.
I'm trying to find sponsors for the supplemental draft party.
Yeah, I always love that one.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's a serial show better. He took millions in NIL from Texas Tech and never will play a snap there.
Yeah.
So I read up on this a fair amount yesterday. He got reportedly, and it's NIL, so private deals, up to $4 million.
Yeah.
And he either doesn't have to pay back all of it or most of it, and he's never going to play a snap there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, is the supplemental draft for Brendan Sorsby or Jimmy the Greek Schneider?
I always love that one.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there is such
My man's got angles.
I mean, all of the stuff, it's like, I mean, there's legislation in Congress right now talking about a lot of changes to college sports. We'll see if any of that happens. But yeah, stuff like this, it's just like, if we were sitting here 10 years ago and you said in 2026,
right,
this is going to happen. And all of it is like, there are NCAA ramifications to it, but nobody's going to jail. It's like, okay,
right.
The world will have changed a lot in that time if we're talking to the 2016 versions of ourselves. But yeah, it just feels like a lot of those things. I mean, there's a lot of talk about reform, and it just feels like you're going to have something because the system is so.
Well, you've always been a big
do what they
Reformation
want.
guy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you're not going to run from it.
No.
I always love that one.
Okay, so outside of Sorsby and Sarah Sutton, One of our singers at Canterbury Chapel last night, Caleb James, asked me, what impact do I feel Dominic Orange is expected to make? And I'm like, well, I got the Scribe tomorrow at 10 o'clock, so let me ask him. There it is.
I think he is going to play a bigger role than you see a lot of rookies play, because I think he fits a need that they have not really a lot of other people that match the body type exactly the same way. It'll be a question of, where do you fit? How much have you picked up on this defense and how all of it works when line shifts change at the last second and you're trying to change blocking rules and all of those things that they like to be able to do. But assuming all of that comes along, he is the type of big body in the middle of that line that they don't really have in the same way. So I think if you can get him probably in rundowns, I mean, there's probably, early down situations. I say that with a little bit of a hedge because they like to blitz a lot on early downs too. But I think if you can put him in situations where you can get some knockback, as people say, where
some
you can
early down blitz conversation in June.
Yeah, we're back. We're ready to go. But yes, if you can do some of those things with him, I think he'll play. I mean, I think they are excited about the physicality in the middle of the line. They have not had a guy like that, probably Harrison Phillips, but I don't even know that Harrison Phillips in terms of pure strength, in terms of pure physicality is that. I mean, you'd have to go back to, or Linval Joseph types.
Linval Hunger, for sure.
Yeah, some of those types. Michael Pierce never really turned into that. But Dalvin Tomlinson, when he was healthy, it's
one of the great maneuvers in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yes, I mentioned that name knowing it would get you going.
Well, iHeartAudio app works in New Jersey, so let's just move on.
Yeah, but I think having a guy like that in the middle of this line is a need, and obviously it's one they identified.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a factor.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to start looking for a working cell phone number for the local branch and the chief operating officer of an ointment called Bengay. And in fact, if anybody listening right now works for Bengay, or what's like another cream you can put on that helps with muscle aches and stuff?
Icy Hot, I suppose.
There we go. Icy Hot, Bengay. Go ahead and bang heads with each other. Go to marketing@KFAN.com. I'm being very serious with this. Marketing@KFAN.com. Get yourself into the covenant. Maybe that's because looking at Ben's posture, and then even the cadence within your voice has changed, if only for a week. You're in so much pain right now that Bengay, Icy Hot, marketing@KFAN.com. Get into this covenant on Tuesdays and help our brother help the Scribe because he's in pain.
Yeah.
Your voice is weird.
I appreciate you playing it up. I'll be all right. Yeah. But it's calves and quads are a little sore, but otherwise we'll power through it.
My man, we'll see if there's Sorsby steam or something happens with the supplemental draft. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, have a wonderful summer.
Yeah, you too.
God bless you and your family.
Yeah, you as well.
Thanks for everything that you give us.
Yes,
okay?
we'll look forward to seeing you at TCO in the not too distant future.
Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, Access Vikings podcast, and we also have a newsletter. So go to @Ben via X to learn more about that. News du Nord is news du next.
You're listening live to Paul Allen and 9 to noon on iHeartRadio and FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
What up, News du Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Live racing and play this season is underway, so check that out on the website. But then you're just feeling the felt. Maybe you find out about the live racing schedule by just going to play some poker, blackjack, or table games. CanterburyPark.com. Always fun there. The Minnesota Timberwolves, we will get to the trade that took place last night. Julius Randle and the 28th overall pick in tonight's first round of the NBA draft. The Wolves sent Julius and the pick to the Nets, to the Brooklyn Nets. And the Wolves get pick 33 in return. So effectively they get that they move back 5 spots. We'll talk about the money and everything associated with it. But regarding the Minnesota Timberwolves, Nick Claxton to the Bulls, you guys already know that. How about this, PA? longtime bench assistant Micah Nori, per Shams, has now become the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. And via Shams, Nori, widely regarded as one of the league's top assistants, been in the NBA coaching ranks since 2009, now takes over in Portland on a multi-year deal. And so best of luck to Mike and Nori, but I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of knowing Chris Finch and all the conversations around this team. We remember the knee thing, and so Micah had to kind of become the head coach and be in charge of all on-court related bits. So what has Micah Nori meant over the last handful of years to Chris Finch and how things are operated with the Timberwolves?
Micah is one of Chris Finch's best friends and has been for quite some time. They were together in Denver when Tim Connolly was there. Chris's level of respect for Micah is 10 of 10. And now, so, like, who becomes the new Micah here? I'd make Pablo Prigioni favored. But, nevertheless, we don't deal with that until the season begins.
Sure.
Micah has some salt of the earth to him, and he's always there to crack a one-liner or offer up a quip. My man likes to shoot from the lip, so to speak. So he's an elite basketball mind who gets to work with the likes of Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday and Shadon Sharp and Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams and Termani Kumara. And
Denny Avdia?
And that's right. And he's the best player on their team.
Still figuring out how to pronounce that, but Scoot and Drew and all those guys.
So we wish him nothing but the best. Always very kind to yours truly, and 9 to noon. Micah Nori, new coach of the Portland Trailblazers.
Congratulations to him. Sadly, the Minnesota Twins. Now, as we mentioned this yesterday, how cool would it be to go to Target Field and get to see Shohei Ohtani in person?
You're going to tell me that they had a crowd last night like 9,000 when I'm like, you got to sell this thing out. It's Shohei and we're hot.
No. Then Shohei goes on the mound on Wednesday, so I think that would be the target of the. He'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you got paid off last night with, I think it was like a handful of pitches into the game. Ohtani with a 400-footer.
Wow.
And then in the bottom of the inning, Buxton goes for 400 feet.
Stars were shining.
And then Freddie Freeman breaks the tie, and sadly the Dodgers win 2-1. But you got to see Ohtani, Buxton, and Freddie Freeman put it in the seats last night.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. Again, all the negative stuff that kind of flies around this team. Just enjoy the Dodgers in town. Sadly, they were on the wrong end of it, but you get two more with LA starting at 6:40 tonight.
Yeah, what's the pitching matchup this evening?
The pitching matchup?
Chat for 35 consecutive seconds, please, so I can find something.
It's Robleski on the mound against Kendry Rojas. And Robleski, he's off to a good start this year. 2.72 ERA, 8-2. Now it's tough not to win. That's a team stat. But 80 innings pitched. He's a big K guy, 50 Ks, 16 walks, 6 home runs. Kendry Rojas, though, he's got 1-0 on his record as a starting pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, where he, in fairness, he got it in a 3 1/3 bullpen game back in May. So I don't know if you could. He gets the win, though. I guess it counts. 5 hits over those 3 1/3 innings, but it'll be Mr. Rojas on the mound tonight against Robleski.
Okay, thank you. I was looking for where the Twins stack up against left-handed pitchers because early in the season, and not only was it statistically good, but when we had Derek Shelton on, it was after a time that they had just torn up some left-handed pitchers. Now, I've kind of lost touch with it a little bit. I know during the course of the season this year against left-handed pitchers, all right, they're hitting .225. Their on-base percentage, a paltry .323. Their OPS is .676. Not terrible, period, but it was a lot higher than that earlier in the year. And here's the point, is the Dodgers had an opener yesterday, and then they came into the game with Eric Lauer, the left-handed pitcher. All right, now part of the premise with yours truly making a prediction, a proclamation yesterday, and it still can happen, but the odds got a little longer, so to speak. The Twins would Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. New schoolers, Meatloaf, old artist, 70s, slow song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. that they would meatloaf the Dodgers, but I was concerned about the Ohtani game, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think I had to be concerned about the Lauer game. I mean, we scored 29 runs in 3 games against Texas.
Yes, we did.
We went down to Arizona. We hung a 16 on them one time. I mean, Larnick, Brooks Lee, Cody Clemens, Luke Keishall. I mean, Josh Bell. They're just all mashing right now. And over the last 2 weeks, why do we present that? Well, because baseball is a sample size sport. I'd prefer to go 30 days, but 15 made the conversation more convenient. 3-2. Over the last 2 weeks, which is a lot of games, it's like 12, it's like 11, 12, or 13 games for the Twins and or the Dodgers. The Twins on base plus slugging, which is a major League Baseball statistic. It was more than 100 points higher than the Dodgers, and it was second or first in Major League Baseball, right there with the Athletics. Why is that significant? Because the Athletics play in a bandbox. It might as well be at Hennepin Technical College.
I always love that one.
So it's easy to knock balls all over the yard. Hasn't been the case when you're playing at the Snakes and you're playing at the Strangers. So, I mean, to back up to a 1... okay, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. It's a long-standing, big-form, long-form game, and the slow burn of it is something that I genuinely appreciate.
You just didn't think we were going to get Lauered.
He didn't give up a hit. We didn't get a hit off Eric Lauer in 6 innings. I mean, with respect, okay? And I can say this. You know why? Because I was the cartoon character yesterday in this microphone to tens of thousands of people, or whatever the number is, saying, Shelty, who knew? You got him close to 500. He has the Twins with this bargain basement buying bit close to 500, sweeping series on the road, meatloafing the Redbirds here, giving the fans a treat, and then going to Arizona with blue-hair Twins fans down there probably preparing to come back for the summer. Well, you gave them a good series there.
Yeah.
So, okay, losing is one thing. That's cool. Do I think the Twins are going to the playoffs? No. Do I think they're going to win their division? No. But the chances are better than a majority of us thought, let's say, a month ago.
Yeah.
That's until they peddle JoJo and Ryan Jeffers, and then the whole conversation changes. But 3-2. So, therefore, yeah, I can feel this way. Because I care about these teams.
Yeah.
And I don't follow it on a day-by-day basis, Major League Baseball, at least the Twins. I follow the whole thing on a day-by-day basis, but I don't watch every Twins game with respect. But it's when you creep that close to 500 and go ahead and win today and meatloaf them, that'll be great. Just to go from all those hits and all those runs and all those people circumnavigating the bases and running around the bases and doing everything right, and then you don't get a hit for 6 innings off Eric Lauer, and I thought you were a good team against left-handed pitching. So that frustrates me a little bit, man. Good luck tonight, go Twins.
I'm going to trust this text. Twins fans knowing what they're supposed to do. 35,000 at the game last night.
Good.
And it was indeed Ohtani. It was
Right.
first few pitches of the game.
And I actually responded to a blow a whistle in my ear tweet yesterday. With, it's like, how dare you say sell it out? We got to make the owners pay. And, for the way they've treated the team and everything. I'm like, all right, man, bro, that's how you look at it.
Yeah, that's your choice.
Which means if you don't want to go, there are seats open for somebody else. I'm a sports snob. So therefore, being a sports snob, if you are a sports snob and you like potentially high-end sporting activity,
yeah,
I couldn't care less about the MLS, about soccer around the world, about Premier Cup, and I even met Harry Kane. Couldn't care less about it. That's me.
Brad Guzan.
I met Harry Kane before the Vikings and New Orleans Saints game. Sweet.
Yeah.
But it's sports snobbery following Mbappe.
Yeah.
It's sports snobbery recognizing what Messi's doing.
Yep.
It's sports snobbery figuring out how to pronounce 20 for USA's last name, Bougainvillea, and why Pulisic and the calf potentially could derail us. That's sports snobbery.
Yeah.
It's high-end sporting activity with a lot of people watching and caring about it. It's dramatic, and eventually, if you take an L, there are going to be tears dropping eyes on the field. Twins-Dodgers is not that.
Right.
But it is sports snobbery. Why? How often does Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, and Kyle Tucker come here? Oh, never? Is this team going to win the World Series? Oh, probably. So that's why I'm like, sell the sucker out, man. Go support your Twins, but hey, see the Dodgers too.
Yeah.
This is sports immortality. This is Steve Garvey. This is Don Drysdale. This is Sandy Koufax. This is Vin Scully. So that's why I said it, and I responded to the person. They came back and apologized. I apologized. We followed each other, and now we're meeting today for lunch.
Oh, now it's a party.
Yeah, just kidding.
Well, yeah,
it was a good exchange.
If you don't want to buy the stream package,
whistle out my ear.
You don't want to go to games. You don't want to do those. I completely support a fan's motive, for doing that.
I couldn't care less.
However,
I was watching the Colorado Rockies walk off on the Boston Red Sox last night and actually put it on Twitter because I sat down on the Slumberland Woke sectional for the first time in 9 hours. Felt so good. Put on MLB Network. What's happening? Oh, the Rockies are walking off on somebody. Coors Field, funny, is sold out. They're terrible, but they always sell it out. Why? Super cool ballpark. And Jarren Duran, or whatever my man's name is in left field, you talk about somebody kicking a ball around and just completely going pear-shaped and melting down.
Clomp Fest?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Went to pick it up, kicked it. Went to pick it up again, kicked it again. Here come the Rockies, and they win the game.
Oh.
So, I put that on my X feed. So it's the point being here is that you don't have to be super good to make memories. But when the Dodgers are in town, sports snobs should recognize whatever the ticket prices are. Okay, it's up to you if you're like, I'm going to make this owner pay because I'm not going to the games. Okay, well, if that were the case with 30,000 people, certain constituents would care. Okay, if I own the team and you act like that with me, don't come. That's it, bro. Don't come. And go tell your neighbor, too. Because are you a fan or are you not? I mean, well, I shouldn't have said that because you can be a fan and be negative on something like that, but just don't take it over the top. Respect the fact that the LA Dodgers are a cool watch. Your team is hot, and your team was creeping up 3.5 out of the division into yesterday. Nobody was going to say that approaching the midway point of the season.
Yeah.
And if anybody out there was like, no, I saw it clearly, bull crap, you're a liar. Especially with these pitchers, Bands and Morris and Paredes, whatever my man's name is, Bougainvillea. Nobody saw this coming. So that's
no, they didn't.
That's what went into what I said yesterday, and I'm taking my anger out into this microphone right now because I made a prediction that they would win 2 of 3 against the LA Dodgers, who just got beat 12-1 by the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday, and damn it, we lost a game I thought we absolutely would get. Why? Because we couldn't get a hit off Eric Lauer over 6 innings? Come on, man.
Hey, your 2 out of 3 can still come true. Mm-hmm. Just handle business tonight with Rojas.
Yeah, I know.
Handle Ohtani tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if we get the bats rolling against Shohei?
Let's go. Yeah, because the Dodger bats are so hot right now. They scored 2 against us. They haven't heard of any of our pitchers. So maybe that surprised them. And the day before, they got beat 12-1 by the, vaunted Orioles. What a wonderful squad that is. 9 to noon knows we got some seam head to us here. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sports snobbery 3-2.
And lastly, and we'll continue talking about this throughout the final hour, and your talkbacks is part of a Talker Tuesday, how you feel about the Julius Randle move. Effectively, you move back 5 spots in the draft. You get relief. You're under the tax now, which opens up this pocket of this mid-level exception, this $15 million money.
Here comes Quentin Grimes.
That you can go out and get a Quentin Grimes, who was water in the desert for me, LFL 2 years ago when he jumped from, I think it was Dallas to the Sixers. But
Toronto. Oh, maybe, yeah.
But to that end, what do you think about it? The talkbacks are going to be in play. Mm-hmm. And now what's next? I think eventually you'll podcast Johnny Athletic with us today, and he lays out that this is really the kind of the foundational step in what will be several to see over the next days, over the next weeks, to see what this thing's going to look like. But we do know that one player who will be in the mix, and maybe part of this trade played into the money that was required for this, Ayo Dosunmu's going to did sign a 5-year, $112 million contract to return to the Howl.
Yep.
I think it starts at about 19.3 and then gradually pushes up into the low 20s over the term of the deal. But the way he was able to use this platform to kind of show out for us in some spots, putting 40-something on the Nuggets in that series. Ayo Dosunmu back in action for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Love it all. Julius, I don't believe Julius Randle wanted to be here anymore. And I don't think, because you'll get a lot of...
I just don't get that.
You'll get a lot of things via social media or loud people on radio or TV where they'll be, like they know. No, you don't know this unless you've been told, and then you quote an anonymous source, I guess, but whatever. So I'm riding discernment, okay? I don't have any steam on this. I got no Finchy steam. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But when you skip your media exit meeting, that's an absolute indicator I'm done talking to everybody.
Or does he just know it's over?
Well, it could be. But, I'm done talking to everybody has some it's over to it.
Yeah.
Kind of same fishbowl, different rocks.
Well, I wonder because...
But the media is the conduit to the fans.
Yes.
So that's, when players and coaches and personnel people start jettisoning that, well, then that means, I don't care what the fans think. I don't care what the media thinks. I just want out.
Yeah, and I just, it's crazy how quickly these things turn because we've been hearing the overtures reported on by the media, how much these guys genuinely love each other. Above many things, they want to win games, they want to hoist a title. They fell short in the conference title series 2 years in a row, but they love each other and they want to get over this hump together. But then this thing almost feels like it kind of people are temperamental. Whether it's the expectations, it's am I getting mine? Is that an issue? Guys on the court, I need mine
in the NBA, that's
on a nightly basis. And so how quickly this changed to the point where I just feel like I don't want to be here. I know it's over. I just wonder at what point late in the regular season, maybe even the playoffs, where agent conversation and some of this stuff behind closed doors just became, you're absolutely out this summer, Julius. So,
and with respect, the conversation is over about the trade 2 years ago. We lost it. We lost the trade.
Yes.
And in the first year with Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, looked like with the Karl Anthony Towns bit, it was pushing, or Timberwolves actually looks like 65%.
Yeah.
They might have come out on the right end. And then you watch DiVincenzo in the postseason with Randle, kind of being in and out, and Edwards was hurt, and you're like, all right, I'm cool with this. But then DiVincenzo gets hurt, and so you lose that facet of it. But you also recognize what you're missing, which was a high-end piece from the Knicks. But Julius Randle was the centerpiece of that deal. Karl Anthony Towns hoisted the Larry O.B. with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
The bet's over.
Yeah, the bet's over.
Bet's over. But I'm not mad. It's like the Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah hire in 2022. I'm not mad at that hire. Somebody looked at a different approach to general managering that involved margin rules and analytics and a different approach and things like that, and it was wrong.
Yeah.
And it was a bad swing. So what do? You fix it. And that's kind of what has happened here with the Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo deal, because the centerpiece the Timberwolves got is gone, traded to Brooklyn. There's that. Giannis traded with Bobby Portis to Miami. That was quite the haul. NBA draft this evening. Timberwolves don't have a first-round pick. They have an early one in the second round. And let me ask you a question before we head to break.
Yeah.
I'm not playing fast right now, am I?
I think for the most part you are.
Well, it's nice of you. I don't feel like it's kind of like the Carson Wentz conversation that just popped up out of nowhere within 3 weeks to a month. Maybe it's summer. Maybe it's because minds are drifting. Maybe Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, Antoine, they got young life camps and all that stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I don't feel, how am I going to put this? I don't feel what I'm saying about quarterback Brendan Sorsby is completely being absorbed the right way.
Okay.
By Rube Nation. Faces and phones, got vacation plans, it's the summer, top fun in the summertime, distractions, bonuses, marketing at KFAN.com. Got everything going on. A lot of things going on.
Yeah, a lot of things.
People can't feel feet. I understand that. I respect that. I'm sorry about that because you can't feel your foot. But I have no reason to not bring this up. You think I couldn't care less about Brendan Sorsby.
Right.
And, hey, I've worked in the gambling field for more than half my life. I mean, like, I don't like to use the low-hanging fruit, stupid lines like hold my beer. 9,000 bets, hold my beer. I mean, we're talking half of somebody's life.
Yeah.
I understand what you're doing, bro. But I just would listen or follow this relatively closely.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a Vikings-related distraction that's not the same old regurgitated garbage through which we've gone the last month, and that happens quite frequently around here. So I have 3.5 pages of Sorsby stuff.
Okay.
That I'm going to start reading next segment, whether people like it or not. And then when the supplemental draft takes place, ain't nobody looking for pats on backs. I'm just curious to see which way it goes with that individual.
Right.
We're going to do all that around the corner on KFAN.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The